Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Lizzie, and for today's video, we're doing something a little bit different. As you read from the title, I'm going to be talking about my top favorite Corey Haim films. This is an idea that actually popped into my head while I was doing my 101 days, where I talked about The Lost Boys during the 80s, and I talked very passionately about my love for the Coreys, Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, and their general friendship in films together. Obviously, unfortunately, Corey Haim has passed away. He passed away back in 2010. But I still consider, but I still love his films. And even though even though he was a major actor in the 80s and I wasn't born into the 90s, I definitely am very passionate about the 80s. I've talked about that on this channel as well. And I'm sure I've talked about them in other videos as well too. But I thought that it would be fun to do something different and give you guys my list of my top favorite. This is not me, I'm not rating all of his work. Can't claim that I've seen every film he's been in, but this is just some of my top favorites. It's a bit of an odd list because it's not a top 5 or top 10. It's gonna be a top 7. That's just where I landed. But let's go ahead and get into talking about these films. So the first one is Blown Away. So this film is about two brothers, played by Corey Haim and Corey Feldman, who work at a ski resort and end up getting involved with the daughter of the man that runs the resort. And it's basically an action film. There's murder mystery, there's sex and danger, and even though it's probably one of their lower rated films, it does have a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb. I still really enjoy this one. I loved it the first time I watched it, and every time I watch it, I enjoy it and love it. And it's the film with a twist ending, and I think it's a great time. Number 6 is a film that I have actually already reviewed, so I'll leave a link to that, and that is Fever Lake. So this is basically a camping horror film, again from the 90s, actually later on 90s, it's like 97 I think. It is about a group of friends that go away on a weekend trip to a cabin near a lake, bit of a cabin in the woods type genre film, and some stuff starts to happen. It's a bit of a supernatural film, and it is real fucking entertaining. It's a bit cheesy of a one, I will say, but I still really enjoyed it, and again, there will be a link to check out my full review for all my thoughts on that film. My 5th pick is one that I actually recently rewatched, and that is Silver Bullet. Now this is a early Corey film. It is actually from the 80s, and it's from 85, and it is about a small town that is affected by a werewolf that starts attacking the people. At first, it seems like some of the deaths are an accident, but as more and more people get attacked and the deaths continue to get more brutal as they go along, the town starts to realize that there's definitely something going on here. Corey plays 10-year-old Marty in this film, who is really the first one to kind of piece everything together and start to figure out what the fuck is going on. And of course, though being a 10-year-old kid, nobody really believes him, and so he just kind of has to try and figure things out and convince his family of what's going on. I really enjoy this one. It is a great werewolf film. If you love werewolf films and you have not seen this one, I highly suggest it. It also has Gary Busey plays his uncle in it, and he does a really great job. Another thing that I really love about this film is that the whole entire thing is narrated by Marty's sister, which I definitely think is very interesting given the fact that Marty really is the main character and she portrays him as such. She talks about him and tells the whole story, but I love the fact that it's done from her point of view, and it's really good. Has some funny moments, but for the most part it's actually a fairly serious werewolf film, and there's definitely, like I said, some brutal attacks in here, so if you love good FX makeup and some gore, I highly suggest this one. My fourth pick is Dream a Little Dream. So this film is again another one that has both Corys in it, and this is by far not my favorite of his films, but I still enjoy it enough to put it in that middle range of the list. This one is from 1989, and Corey Haim is more of a secondary character in this film. Corey Feldman's character is really one of the main characters of this film, but it still has both of them in it, and honestly, this is Corey Haim's character of Digger is honestly one of my favorite of his characters, which is probably why it's so high up on the list. Because I love this character so much in this film. This is a bit of a body swap film. You have Corey Feldman's character who ends up mind swapping with an older gentleman. They end up stuck in each other's body. The older gentleman experiments with some weird stuff and causes the two of them to swap. Corey's characters are in high school, so that definitely takes a toll on their social life, and it's really interesting because, I mean, it has that kind of, I don't know if you'd call it a supernatural realm to it, but sort of. You're definitely playing with some weird stuff in this film, and it's an odd one, but a really fun time, and if you have not seen it, I highly suggest it. Though you will end up with that song, Dream a Little Dream of Me, stuck in your head afterwards. And my third pick is actually Dream a Little Dream 2. This one actually, I oddly enough prefer. This one is from 1995. It follows the same characters. They are now living in LA. Corey Feldman's character is just kind of trying to move on with his life. He really doesn't want to remember what happened to him when he was in high school, but in the midst of all of that, they receive a pair of sunglasses sent to them from back home that they end up discovering have magical powers. When one person is wearing one pair, they can sense what the person wearing the other pair wants them to do. It's not really mind control. They can't think what they want them to do, but it's more based off of how they are feeling. And it ends up causing some problems for them when there is somebody that really wants those glasses, comes on the hunt for them. It's a weird one. Again, both the films are just very, very strange, very odd. But I really like the second one. But I don't know why, I just happen to like the second one a little bit more. Again, I love Corey Haim's character in this, Digger. On to the second pick on the list, and that is License to Drive. This one came out in '88, so later 80s, a little closer to the 90s, but you have, again, both Corys as teenagers, and Corey Haim is more of the focus character of this film, with Feldman being his best friend character, and Haim's character, Les, that's his name, is like many teenagers wanting to get his license, but he unfortunately fails the first time, but that doesn't stop him from trying to go out and having a good time. And it's just a real like 80s adventure-packed film. You know, teenagers causing mischief and whatnot. And it's really funny. If you love any 80s adventure type films and you have not seen this one, definitely need to check this one out because it is funny and weird and a real fucking good time. And on to the number one film, which shouldn't be at any surprise to anybody, but it's The Lost Boys. Of course, this is going to be my number one pick. I fucking love this film. It has both Corys in it, and if you, for whatever reason, have not seen this film, it is a vampire film. It is about two brothers that moved to California with their mother after their parents' divorce, and they realize the town that they're living in is infested with vampires, and I love it. This shirt is obviously from it. And like I said, I have reviewed this one. I actually, oddly enough, it turns out I have actually talked about this film in 2 different videos. I did one where I did Lost Boys versus Fright Night, and then I talked about it again in my 101 Days, not being aware that I had already talked about this film, so there will be links to both of those to check those out. But yeah, that is my list. That is my list of my favorite Corey Haim films. If you guys would like me to do a second list specifically for Feldman, I can do that, though it would probably be roughly the same, obviously with a few changes. But I hope that you guys did enjoy this. If you want to leave me any of your favorites of his films that aren't on this list, definitely feel free to in the comments below. If you did enjoy this, please do give it a big old thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more horror-related content, and I will see you guys again later with another video. Bye!